Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Design Cities Skylines. My name is Stoster and we are back at Cedar Valley, where I have to say, you already know what I'm going to say, but a lot has happened in between the last episode and this one. Actually, this is probably one of the biggest updates in between episodes. The city has grown tremendously. I'll show it to you in a moment, but let me first walk you through some of the things that we did during an impromptu live stream I did last Friday. Sorry I couldn't announce it with more time, but it was fun. Quite a few people showed up actually. I wasn't expecting that many people, but I'm unfortunately I cannot upload that to YouTube because I was playing music and it has some copyrighted content in there. But you might be able to still watch it on Twitch. I'm going to include the link in the description so you can check it out. It's about 4.5 hours, but it was a ton of fun and we did accomplish a lot of things. And on top of that, I was just working, adding things off camera during this past weekend. So as you can see here, this is one of the new areas of the city. I mean, we used to have this roundabout before. All I did is just, a bit of landscaping and cleaning up things and adding more detail. And let me begin by showing you this beautiful farmer's market that we built over here. I mean, there's so much detail going on here. It's kind of ridiculous. I wasn't very sure as I was building it. I had my doubts. You can go watch the live stream for this little part. It's one of the first things that we built, actually. I wasn't really sure, but after I added everything in, it just looks really, really nice. And this thing right here, this roundabout, it's one of my favorites too. Unfortunately, some of the trees are actually on the lanes. I think we can move those. I need to play a little bit with that. Or maybe the diameter of the roundabout is a bit too much. You know what we can do actually to make it, to make it work rather quickly is grab this stool, and that way now the trees are sitting at least on the sidewalk, which is definitely an improvement. But I'll go ahead and do that. That way, I mean, it's still kind of sketchy, but it's not too bad. Can even nudge it a little bit in. I don't know. The problem is I added some of these details manually myself. So moving this whole thing means that I'll have to redo many other things. So I might do that off camera. I just noticed that. But in any case, this is part of one of the bigger neighborhoods that we have. I also created this custom park on the back of the high school that used to be somewhere around here, but I think I changed the location of it. I'm not sure if you'll remember every single detail of every single thing we did in the city, but I'll show it to you in a moment. Actually, you know what? Let me do it now. This is what I'm looking at. This is this roundabout. We used to have this for a while. This is this like American style neighborhood that we had on this corner. But let me go back in to show you all the details, and then I'll give you a quick overview of the city, because this is just one of the many neighborhoods that changed. Over here we have this police station that I plopped several episodes ago, but now it has this back area. Oh no, my mouse battery is dying. There we go. Seems like it's working now. We have all these abandoned cars. This is basically the impound lot, where all the cars that have not been claimed or paid for are just stuck here. So it's all like overgrown bushes and things like that, and debris all over the place, and also like the pavement is not very well kept. So yeah, I think it turned out great. I mean, I know it's in like an urban area and like a really fancy neighborhood, but I like it anyway. I like the contrast of things, and I do think, I mean, this happens in real life too. Like police stations sometimes in like fancy neighborhoods have a bunch of crappy cars in like some back garage or something. On the bright side, this is a wall, right? It's a brick wall, so it's no one can really see what's going on from the outside unless you obviously have a drone or something. In any case, we're moving on to this American style neighborhood. We have all like 1 or 2 story houses, nothing more than that. So I extended it a bit further out, so it goes all the way up to here. And again, as I was adding details during the live stream. All I did during the live stream was just add some swimming pools, some manual swimming pools, and create some of these fenced areas. Even add some swings and rocking chairs and whatnot. But I ended up creating this little plazas, this custom-made plazas with the this chain fences and some fountains and some trees. And we had all these like manually plopped buildings. So I carried over this design all around here. It used to end somewhere around here, so I brought it in all the way over here. I created parking lots. I put down some parking lots in between. So now it's all coming together. And here in between the this neighborhood and this one, I added a row of houses continuing the same building aesthetic, so that it sort of follows the theme. And I created this really simple path, nothing too fancy here, just trees and bushes on both ends. And then I also created this custom plazas. I mean, they're actually a big park just with details around it. And sort of the theme for this neighborhood is this sand sort of texture or dirt texture that I haven't used in a while. The last time I used this heavily is on the harbor somewhere over here. But I think I don't know. Like this, details of yellow in general make it, a little bit. They add a little bit more contrast to the city, and it's a result that I really like. And over here, you can see all these bollards, just created like a fence around the avenues. Not so much on the promenade, on this walking promenade, but yes, on the main roadways. So that would hopefully prevent cars into crashing into all the kids playing here. So yeah, Cedar Valley is a safe city. Safety first. Moving on over here. This is sort of the same neighborhood. I made a little park entrance over here. Sorry, an entrance to this back park, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And nothing much over in this end. Now, one thing I did was just add trees and decorations pretty much throughout this whole area. So over here, all these trees were not here. I added them manually, many of these, and also in between these buildings. Just adding things here and there, making it all look nice. And this park, it's now looking a little bit nicer. I did some rezoning too, so now we have some commercial areas over here which we didn't have before. And now we have this custom plaza, which is again a combination of a ploppable park as well as assets all around, which it's looking good. I also added another police station. In this case, no impound lot, just like a fenced area for all these police cars. And yeah, that's pretty much it, at least for this corner of the map. We're only getting started here. Just so you know, we're only getting started. Let me move on over here, because remember that we used to have only one interchange. So, well, now we have two, which means that the traffic is definitely flowing much better. We still have some issues from time to time, but I think overall, we never have more than 5 or 6 cars waiting at peak levels for the light to change. So that's pretty good. Now over here we also have some of these American style apartment complexes that they're pretty simple. All I did is just plop them. They already come with some trees, but I also added my own a few around the neighborhood, and also put down some of these fences around the perimeter, just keep it a little bit more realistic. I think we can keep adding details into this area, so we might come back to that later. But for the time being, I think it works. Over here we have a gas station right on the exit of this freeway, as well as if I remember correctly, this is a fire station. Yeah. And then over here, this is something that we're going to come back at the end of the episode, because this will be we're going to be spending some time in here. This is pretty much a custom-made shopping mall. So we have a fast food restaurant over here, which I'm not going to say the name. We have the big shopping mall in the middle, and we also have a Staples branch and a Best Buy. So we're going to put down some cars in the parking lot so that it looks a little bit more busy. And I think it needs just details throughout, like fences and maybe some trees and planters and things. So we'll probably do that at the end of the episode. By the way, I forgot to tell you what we're going to be doing on this episode. We're going to be working on some suburban neighborhoods back here, and of course then detailing this, and hopefully if we have time, other things too. But I mean, this already gives you an idea. By the way, I'm all over the place. This gives you an idea of all the work that I've been doing so far. We're gonna come to this area right here in just a second. There's so much to see here. Can't remember. Did I? Yeah, I think in the last episode I already moved the rail yard, but now the rail yard has a crazy, insanely amount of detail. We'll come back to that. Just stay tuned. Now, as you can see here, we have some growth over in this area. I extended this neighborhood. Actually, I think this is its own neighborhood. It's split by the freeway. And I'm going to show you some things by the freeway too that I was working on during the live stream. Over here, this pattern, well, we're going to come back to this, but basically I did this with Surface Painter. So I'm going to create a bit of a modern custom-made plaza here. We're going to come back to this. This is probably a couple of episodes away. But the goal here is to like have, Surface Painter be sort of the guide in designing, and me designing this modern, like concrete style plaza. So like I said, we're going to come back to that. Over here, we have a also semi-custom made sports center. We have a bunch of tennis courts that are probables, as well as this racetrack. I think these are even vanilla. But all I did is just put them together and connect them using trees and fences. As you can see here, actually, the fences don't go all around, but you can, there's parking lots over here, which I did put myself. And there's also a few more fences over here. And they're all connected by this pedestrian road. So it's all looking good. We have a spot here for something we're going to construct in the future. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but we'll come back to that as well. So you can see there's still a ton of work to do in general. So let me focus your attention back onto this neighborhood. So one of the things I did in here is I pretty much carved out this neighborhood. So as you can see, if we look at it from this angle, we have all these, all these roofs that are sort of the same level. And then we have some semi-tall buildings kind of sticking out in the distance. Definitely not as tall and as crazy as this one's, but tall enough that creates a little bit of an interesting layout. So what I did is just zone this whole area and change the theme. So it's basically vanilla buildings for the most part. When I say vanilla, it's because I've been asked this during the live stream. When I say vanilla, I mean like the things that come with a game that are not necessarily modded, even though some of these buildings are probably modded. But basically, I'm not restricting this neighborhood with a building theme. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, moving on, this is also one of my favorite areas of the city. Now, this little plaza here, it's 100% custom made. We have this pedestrian road over here, and I decorated the paths that go into the plaza, the center of the plaza, with this with these logs. And they look amazing. It just makes it look like really rustic and like a small town in the mountains. So you're gonna see me use this as the edge of paths a lot more, especially once when we tackle hiking trails and things like that up here. It's a long ways down the road, but we'll get to that eventually. And here we have a high school and elementary school combo with the baseball court as well as a skating park, and people in this neighborhood seem to really like it. So that's great news. Another thing that I did is I created this cool little loop so that pedestrians can climb up here, and you can follow this super gentle path, which is something that really bugs me when people just create like really steep slopes for pedestrian paths. Like, people can't climb things that are that steep. And anyways, it just curves around and it lands right here on the edge of this neighborhood, which now it's separated from the freeway. I've been getting a lot of comments in the previous video about having some trees or something to separate this, and now we have a combination of bushes, trees, fences, and walls, and even guardrails on areas like this. We did this during this live stream as well, the previous live stream, and I think it turned out amazing. It's not like insanely detailed, but detailed enough that it makes it look quite realistic in my opinion. So as you can see here, we have this entire wall kind of like following the freeway, and it just ends here, at least for now. We also have a fence here, yeah, right on the edge of this freeway at the parking lot. This will be the parking lot of the main station, but obviously it's very much a work in progress, so we'll come back to this one as well. There's so many projects all over the place. Obviously I also have to replicate this design on the other side of the freeway. Probably this building right here is way too close to the ramp, but we will also come back to that. And at last, the rail yard. So you can see here we have, this is an area that used to be like this in the previous episode, or at least a little bit like this in the previous episode. Now it's a whole different beast. I mean, let's start with this wall that kind of surrounds everything, which it was no small feat. Even with the prop line tool, it was quite a bit of work. We also have some fencing going on here. We also have this workshops or whatever these are. We have this bridge now. I was trying to use it in previous episodes, but now I found a perfect spot to use it. Obviously, this continues that way, but I was just checking. This behaves like a train station, and it's trains are spawning from here. But that's kind of a crazy thing. We'll come back to that. Now, over here, we have this 3 main buildings that have rail connections. So you can see here that these trains, I know they're clipping, but because the hole is actually really thin for the width of the tracks. But trust me, just imagine that this didn't happen. As you can see here, we have the same treatment with the ground textures. We have the mostly cement, but then we have patches of grass and dirt. And now together with all these ploppables, I was just plopping details like for hours here, getting it all to look amazing. We have all these stacks of planks and logs, cargo vans, containers of many sizes. We even have this. This is another type of workshop for trains. Actually, we have them over here. They're modular, so you can. I mean, it's just one module, but you can stack them together and create, interesting buildings like this one. This is one long building that is just the same building, clipped on itself many times over. This one over here, this is one building. This whole thing is 4 buildings turned into one. And let me show you another example of this. Over on this corner, same building, but in a different configuration. So now it looks like one big warehouse. It's really cool to play around with things like that. I came up with that idea when we were building this neighborhood right here, this planned neighborhood. You can look it up on the playlist if you haven't watched that episode, where I started clipping buildings on top of each other, even though the textures are fighting for a spot in the rendering order. But you can create these amazing buildings that, sure, they're a little bit flickery if you look at them closely, but when you look at it from up above, they look good enough. Now, coming back over here, like I was saying, I created this 2 designs just using one building. Also, I think this one, it's 3 buildings, as you can see. And there's still work to do. I mean, this area right here is still pretty much not finished yet. So as you can see, a lot of work needs to be done here. And obviously we have another big rail yard here, a bunch of cars that are probably going to be put into trains and carried somewhere else. A big water tower for git measure, and all these fences kind of go around that. After the shed, they turn into a wall. We also have some pipes here connecting the various areas of this rail yard. This obviously look like the ones that are somewhat abandoned. So we have these bushes and just more patches of grass and dirt than concrete. So it's a little bit less maintenance. In general, trains don't drive on this tracks that are full of other trains. So except for this one, which occasionally gets clipped by a train that's incoming, but do not mind that. You haven't seen any of that, so just take my word for it. Maybe this one. Oh, actually, yeah, that one goes on the other track. And over here, we have a big incineration / recycling plant. We're having a ton of issues with garbage in this area because obviously all of our garbage collection and processing was on this side. So we had all these incineration things and one over here. And I think we also have a whole bunch of biogas boxes here, another incineration plant here. So, and a couple more over here. So basically they weren't reaching this area and I had to come up with this massive garbage area. So I know it's so close to the golf course, but it's okay. I mean, it's separated by a wall. Nobody can see that. I mean, you're just enjoying your whatever 12th hole, and you can just see the city in the distance, and sure the smokestacks and everything. But don't pay attention to that. Just look at the pretty mountains. That's what you should look at. In any case, yeah, this is again also work in progress. I added some details here and there, but I think we can make improvements to this. But wow, that was quite an intro. I feel like I've talked a lot so far, and I haven't even built anything. Oh yeah, one last thing. I replaced the restaurant with like a mansion here. I'm not sure this is the right fit for this. I was thinking this would be more like a, like a private club or something, like a membership only thing that someone needs to invite you so you can get here. So I don't know. This could be part of the entrance. I'm not entirely sure. Like a cigar club or something like that, but for now, it's a mansion. Eventually, we'll change it to something else if we find something that's right. Oh, by the way, a viewer told me that the reason why the restaurant that I was trying to put here was disappearing is because that is supposed to only grow in the tourist specialized neighborhood, which this one isn't. But actually, I wonder what would happen if I do indeed zone this whole area and mark it as leisure. Maybe that will draw more people to this area. Now, like I said before, we're going to be focusing on this corner of the map. And my goal here is to build a suburb that it basically has a bit of an organic layout. But what I mean by organic, it means like roads that don't follow any kind of grid whatsoever, which is something that I know many of you have been asking for quite some time. So we're going to try to do this, and this will hopefully carry over whatever designs we end up having up on the mountain. It's likely that we're going to have a road that kind of comes around this way or maybe this way. And that way we can continue the development up here, and it's all going to be integrated with the mountains, and it's all going to look super fancy. So, we might do that in the next episode if we don't have time for this one. But for the time being, I want to start by maybe I want to reunite these two avenues somehow. So in order to do that, we have two options. Option number one would be, first of all, one thing I want to do is reduce the number of lanes here, because I don't want 6 lanes. I want only 4 lanes. And once I have that, I want to carry over this design. So if we go like this, so maybe 10 by 10, I think this will be the backbone of this neighborhood. And hopefully this will give us 12 by 10. That's not too bad. How does that look? That looks all right. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. That's kind of a nice little curve. And this, we're going to have some roads kind of branching out of this main avenue. So let me begin by using the tree road. Actually, let's pause the game. We don't need to run the game for this. Let's find a good spot. I think we're going to go diagonally here, and then we're just going to use this tool. Extend it like that. It's not too bad. Can we go like this? Yes, we can. All right. And then this way we can just go by about that much using this as a reference. And maybe go 5 units by 6 units. No, let's go 5 by 5. I want this to be organic and everything, but I also want it to be amazing. So I can only achieve amazing if I use exact units, unfortunately. All right, so we have that squiggly road. Over here, we might need Here, I have an idea. Let's use this road instead. And we're just going to have a little cul-de-sac of 1. Can we do 1, actually? Oh, this is going to be interesting. 1 by 1. Come on, you can do it. By 1. Oh, it wants to snap to that thing. Oh, wait, no, I got it. There we go. By 1. Oh my god, that is the cutest cul-de-sac ever. All right, we need to do this again. Where else can we put another one? Fantastic. That is really cool. Oh, this one. This one should totally be one of those. Let's grab the two-way road. Actually, I kind of want to go into the direction that the previous road was going. Come on. You got it. You got it. There we go. So tricky getting it to snap to the right point. But it works. Or not so much. I take that back. Come on, you can do it. There we go. That's it. All right. So we have 1, 2. They're all kind of parallel. Seems like I can't really get away from building on grids. But it's okay. It's totally fine. Wait, over here we have 5 units, right? 5 by 5, 4 by 5, 5 by 5. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to grab this thicker road. And we're going to do that. And with that in place, I want to extend this one and by 1. Fantastic. So we have a few cul-de-sacs. We're probably going to do some terraforming around them so that we can indeed get some houses in there. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, unless we do Rico, which, I mean, they're huge. I don't think this really fit the theme. But, yeah, my main concern is that the zoning area is so tiny that really only, one house will be groaning there. That's the problem that I see with this. But I really like how it looks. So for now, I'm just going to keep them. We'll see if we can do better on the other side. Let's grab this this road over here. I think we're going to extend this by about this much. Let's go this way instead. So we're going to go 6 units by... I guess we're going to go by 5 units. I definitely want to stay on this line. I don't want to go anywhere out of that line. So we can do something like this and like that. That's curvy enough. And then if we grab this one over here, we can just come this way and do something like that. Not a huge fan of how that looks. I think we need a straight line here all the way in. It's actually not too terrible. Let's take a look at this one for a moment. What if we go... If we go like this, maybe... At this point, I think we need to just go straight like that. And... go 5 by 5. That's actually not too bad. I kind of like it. In fact, we might even add another cul-de-sac. I know I'm really limiting my options for zoning, but it does add up quite a bit of texture to the area. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Even though here I'm like ruining my chances of getting buildings, so no, maybe not. I might have to get rid of all these, unfortunately, but we'll see. We'll see. This is all trial and error. All right, so that's the layout that I came up with. It's I'm pretty happy with it. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to zone against this little cul-de-sacs. I just got rid of all the zoning for these, but if I turn them on, it only creates a 1 by 4 tile, which might be a bit too tight for some of the buildings that I was planning on doing here. So I want to see how this looks like once I start putting down these houses and see if the cul-de-sacs are a bit out of place. But for the time being, I think I'm just going to start zoning pretty much like crazy. So I'm going to use the brush here. Already sort of fixed the zoning throughout this little streets so that we can get the biggest, footprint for our buck, I guess. This is actually a great spot for commercial. Let me see if I can use by holding control. That's what I wanted. That is exactly what I wanted. And then this, so we can go grab a zoning tool like this. And basically this whole area will be commercial. And I think that's it. We can zone a little bit further in here. Let's demolish some of these trees that are sort of in the way. We will bring these trees back again. I'm pretty sure we do have power in here. So that's is not something that I'm particularly worried about. Whoa, that one was kind of funky. Let's see if I can improve that. Yeah, like right here, I think we're going to have a connection. Just to play it safe, I want to add one of the... By the way, I need to do this Tesla supercharging stations. I downloaded that asset a long time ago and never used it. Let me just create that connection here. Maybe create another one here. That way there's plenty of, connections to this neighborhood, at least 2 of them. And let's just start the simulation. Actually, wait, no, that was a big mistake. We won't start the simulation just yet. First of all, we need to zone this area, or at least create the neighborhood. So we're going to zone this neighborhood right up against the edge of the golf course. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to transition between the golf course and this area. I'm sure we're going to have another gated entrance, but we will come back to that. Let's see. We're going to set some themes in here. What about UK? I want only houses. So wait, non-houses. UK. These ones are interesting too. I downloaded this a few episodes ago. They're all 2x4s. Let's see how this looks. Let's give this a shot. So we're going to go UK. Turn this off. And now... let's just simply go full speed and see what really happens. All right, so we have our first house, our second house, and they're all going to start making sense in just a second. All right, so it's looking pretty good. However, I do see a few things that we should address rather quickly. First things first, I would like this row of houses to kind of go organically around the... this road. So the fact that this one grew here and now we have this gap here, I think it will look much nicer if we actually had 2 or 3 houses on this road instead of on the avenue. And also we have this issue where, commercial is not growing simply because we haven't, set any commercial areas for the UK sets. So first things first, let me see if, we still have potential room for growth in here. I'm going to pause the game. That's what I'm going to do first. Fortunately, if I get rid of the zoning here, it's going to make that disappear. But now that I did that, I think we're going to also dezone this. And we're actually going to do that. So the houses will go this way. Let's get rid of this one. And maybe... I really want to eliminate this zone right here. Let's get rid of it all together. There we go. And then zone that in. And that hopefully should do the trick. If we paint this, also getting rid of that. And going back to zones. Yeah, obviously we're not going to have any sort of growth in here. However, we can force it by maybe doing a little bit of terraforming here, which wouldn't really hurt. So we're going to increase the radius here, and we're going to use this as a reference point. But for some reason, this stretch of road. Oh, this one we forgot to paint it the whole area. There we go. Okay, so we have all these houses here. And I think I also want to carry this design over here and not have any sort of houses against this road. So we're going to get rid of that and that. And we're also going to get rid of all this zoning from this road. And we're going to do that. And do that. And while we're at it, we're going to get rid of that commercial area as well. We can even put ploppables here. So I'm not too worried about zoning specifically. I guess I can turn zoning for that just for a moment. And get rid of that. But yeah, this is looking better. Get that zone painted there. Guess we can also somehow reset this zoning like that. Grab the thing, zone it a bit more. Yeah, I definitely want some sort of a commercial area here. So we will have to maybe zone this like that. And we're going to go into the theme manager and grab some, basically some commercial for this. What if we just leave it like that, have a Starbucks and a Pizza Hut and just call it a day? Yeah, that might be better. Let's unzone this. Wait, what are we getting here? General store? Okay, it's gone. Drugstore, general store. Okay, they're all generic things. But yeah, the neighborhood is looking amazing. I really wish that I could fit in another building here, but I'm afraid I'm gonna mess up the entire. Let's do no zoning. See if we can get zoning there, hopefully. Oh no, this is like ruined. Like it messes up my other zones, which is not good. But I think I got it here. So, oh, now this one is all messed up. But I think this is an easy fix. There we go. So that's fixed. We can go all green like this, all green like that, all green like this. And now this one is also messed up. Let's get rid of that. All right, I think I got it. Have to rezone the same thing over and over again. But it's all about maximizing the zonable areas over here. Even on this area, we might be able to get more zones. Okay, this one just got messed up by that one. So can we, like, what if we do this? Oh no, that broke everything. All right, I fixed it. I think it's looking good, and I don't foresee any more changes. The only changes that I think I'm gonna do is start, adding details in this whole area. So it's gonna be a little bit of a process, but I like this design. I like how all these like tiny little houses are repeating themselves over and over again, and they sort of share the same aesthetic. So all that's left to do is start adding some trees, and for that, it's probably a great time to cue up the music and make this a gorgeous time-lapse.
That's essentially how I feel about life. Full of loneliness and misery and suffering and unhappiness. And it's all over much too quickly. The question is, have I learned anything about life?
this is probably the first time in many episodes where I can consider something complete and that I'm really happy with. So this is the neighborhood of Woodland Hills. Let me show you in detail how this whole looks. In fact, let me zoom out a bit so you can see the entire area from up above. And obviously you can see here that we have a non-grid layout with organic roads, which is not something that I usually build. It's I really have a hard time trying to get these types of neighborhood to look nice and, you know, and up to my standards. Sometimes super high, sometimes not so high. I said this many times before, but I feel like sometimes it's better to not just to avoid filling everything with trees. So if you look at the edge of the mountain, we have a really thick and dense forest. But in this area where we have this neighborhoods, we have a few clusters of trees and then just gaps of grass. And it just makes this breathe. Like when you look at it, it just makes it a little bit less noisy. Adds contrast to things. I don't know if I'm doing a great job at describing the sensation that I'm trying to generate by building this, but I would say that many people will just like fill all these gaps with trees and it will look okay. I know I say that a lot, but sometimes it's just better to leave, clears. And this cul-de-sacs that we had here that really, I love how they look. It just sucks that we can't really zone against them. I guess I could just plop things, but I don't have any good house ploppables, unfortunately, especially not from the UK set, which is the one that we're using for this theme. But one solution that I found or use for this roundabouts is just connect them with paths so that it's a bit of a shortcut into the commercial area. So like taxis can drive around here maybe, or just people dropping off other people. It might work better if this was a big mall or anything, something like that. And plus, we have tons of parking lots here. But I still think this is a nice shortcut for even potential bus stops, which we would have alongside this avenue, most likely in the near future. Let's see, what else? I added a high school because I think this whole area needed some education. Should probably do. I left this gap over here. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do here. Probably, I don't know if we're going to need more commercial or offices or something, but I left this spot here just to put down maybe another school or police station. Oh, by the way, police station. I only have this tiny little British, the Doctor Who TARDIS police box, and I also have another one hidden at the entrance of the golf course. So now this is the north entrance of the golf course. I added this wall. We need to come back here and add more details in terms of fire. Oh, this is the thing that I needed to put down. Okay, so let's see where a fire station would make sense. I think it will make sense near this thing. So for example, somewhere around here, I think it will make more sense because it can serve the rail yard as well as this little town. Question is, should we put it like right here inside of the rail yard? Wait, how many of these? Only 3 fire engines. Yeah, I think that's probably enough. We can even have it. We can have it here, right, and get rid of the wall, obviously. But yeah, let's put it here and get rid of that wall. We have fire hydrants. We can just have a row of fire hydrants. So what we can do instead is actually, let's go for water towers or something like that. Something that kind of resembles, what is this? This is a dog watering thing, so maybe not. We can have something like this. This is also for trains. We can have a tiny tower like this, because by tiny I mean like this one is huge if you compare the two. So a tiny tower here could work. So let's have that. Let's just put it here. Perfect. And we'll also need to connect that. Oh, this one's cool. You know what? I'm gonna keep this one for like a town up in the mountains. I know many of you always ask me to do water towers in general, but I guess we'll just go like this. There we go. Cool. And while we're at it, let's just grab some trucks and just line them up around here. So like, for example, these kinds of trucks. And I don't know. They're not fire trucks, but they're trucks nonetheless. So we're going to rotate them like this. And we're going to bring them closer together just to add, you know, a bit more details to this. And I like deleting a few of them so that they don't look too repetitive. Also, oh, I got rid of that road. I didn't want to get rid of that road. All right, that's pretty cool. So we have some trucks parked alongside that. And you know what? Let's roughen up this this area right here. You know, just like create like an uneven textures. This always looks good. And let's grab some bushes and things. Probably this is a bit too big. Let's grab something like this alongside the wall, and maybe a tree. A tree might be a bit too much. I want to keep it all like low vegetation. So something like that. And maybe even some of these grass patches. It's kind of overgrown, you know. And let's search for some trash too. And I think that's it. I mean, that was a simple detail added to this little corner, but I think it totally works. All right, let's move on to the next thing. So, like I said at the beginning of the episode, we're going to be doing some decorations here before we finish this video. And I'm going to begin by, well, first of all, pause the game. And I'm going to get rid of those two parking lots. By the way, let me give you a quick tip. Some of you may already know this, but if you go demolish this or any of these types of buildings and you get the confirm deletion thing, you don't have to click yes. You could just press enter. And look, I'm having my mouse here. Press enter and it goes away. So yeah, that's a time saver tip. So, you know, use it. I want to put down this Tim Hortons. I think it's a Canadian chain, right? If I'm not mistaken. So we're going to put it right next to the McDonald's here. I guess we're going to do this so that cars can only come inside from this side and not on the other side. Maybe here. Will that make sense? Fantastic. All right. So we have all that fenced out. Let's grab this curves that I was telling you about. Curves, because I know how to spell curve. There we go. And so these ones are pretty big. I mean, they're huge, not just big. I think we can have a big one right here in the middle. Sometimes it renders like super, like if I rotate it, it renders like super dark. I don't know why. I think maybe it's a bug with the mod or the asset. Not entirely sure what's going on, but it is what it is. All right, so we have those three. Let's see if we can squeeze in a few more over here. So definitely want to put one right here at the entrance. All right, there we go. So that's definitely looking better. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Okay, so let's see. We don't want to put anything in there. What about the Best Buy or something like that? Let's see if we can just squeeze this in on the corner. That way we have some, you know, like detail thing going. Maybe try do the same over here as well. Just, you know, like a few props coming out of the buildings just to add a bit more of a texture. And definitely we need to add some green into this construction. So not only added trees, but I also added a few props, and it's looking quite nice. Let me just show you in detail how this whole area feels and looks like as well. So you can see here, I added extra tables and extra cars to the parking lots, some dumpsters for good measure. When it comes to the planters themselves, I added some flowers and obviously some palm trees. I know I'm going to get this comment, I'm going to say it up front. Yes, I know palm trees don't belong to this setting, but usually shopping malls like this bring palm trees from other places, and they just put them there so that it looks, slightly different and more appealing to shoppers. So that's why I'm always choosing palm trees for this kinds of settings. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Moving on, we have the Tim Hortons here with a whole bunch of tables as well. I also added some garbage cans pretty much throughout, just to make it a bit more detailed and believable. Also added an extra couple tables to the Wendy's. Now over here, this parking lot, it's coming along pretty nice. I added some of the old planters that we were using, and I put down some of these pine trees, just because this is sort of the back side of the shopping mall. Over here, this big planters, I basically created a combination of yellow and pink flowers. Same thing over here. Basically, every big version of these planters now has a big bush and some of these colorful flowers. And I mean, this area right here, it's lovely. It's super simple, nothing too crazy. I also added a bunch of cars just so that it feels a little bit more occupied. Now moving over to the front of the building, as you can see here, I added this 2 rotating signs, which I'm not entirely sure they fit with whatever shops are in here, but they totally fit with the shopping mall theme, so I decided to keep those. They look really nice. And I also added some flowers here as well, with some grasses kind of growing in between. And I mean, honestly, that's pretty much it. But look how busy this area now looks, and that was sort of the goal here. I wanted to make this area look like it's a real shopping mall where tons of people are driving by and doing their shopping and going about. And also, we've been experiencing some upgrades here on this neighborhood. Unfortunately, I messed up the suburban American theme, and I need to come back to this and probably fix it, but I'll take care of that in the next episode, because obviously I'm running out of time. So if you enjoy this video, please give it a like. That's very much appreciated. And also please consider subscribing if you haven't already and want to be notified next time I post one of these videos. There's also a link in the description to the whole playlist where you can watch every single episode up to date. In case you miss one, you can go look it up on that list. But unfortunately, that's all the time that I have for now. I want to thank you all for watching, and really hope to see you in the next one.